Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, and we're here once again with another cool history video, doing the Bronze Age summarize. Pretty much, I don't really know anything about the Bronze Age. I guess that's where they found bronze, right? Uh, and so the I did one I did a video on Egypt, the fall of Egypt, and a big thing of that was the Bronze Age, the Iron Age. I think came in, and Egyptians didn't have any. I guess didn't have any iron, and they kind of got passed up because they kind of fell back on technology, I guess. And so I was kind of just curious, what the basically Bronze Age, I guess, time period is all about, and just in general, I always obviously I've heard of the Bronze Age, but never really knew much about it. So, anyways, piqued my interest, and I actually went on the search bar on YouTube and searched Bronze Age. And this was, I believe, one of the more, I guess, one of the more popular ones. I guess it's a new channel, and I really usually don't do new channels because I'm afraid of copyright purposes, I guess. But we're about to find out. So, anyways, this is a new channel, Epithemus. I was already subscribed to this channel. Because when I'm doing my channel, I try to find like a bunch of history videos and subscribe to them, just in case down the line, I might be able to do videos from them. And so, anyways, enough of me rambling on here. We're gonna jump into this, the Bronze Age. I've never seen a video from them before, so let's check this out. I'm hoping this is good. So it's a risk, right? But anyways, please hit that like and subscribe button below. If you're new here, I do a lot of history videos and geography videos, so definitely check out like the playlist and stuff on my channel. You won't be disappointed. We have a lot of fun here. But anyways, let's do it. Bam.
The Bronze Age began in the ancient Near East, which is the historical region comprising much of Western Asia and the Eastern Mediterranean. Mesopotamia, meaning the land between the two rivers, referring to the Tigris and Euphrates, saw the rise of the first known major civilization, Sumer. The Sumerians' rapid development was greatly aided by the innovation of bronze melting technology. Early forms of bronze were smelted with arsenic, which had the nasty side effect of fatally poisoning those involved in its production and handling. The Great Bronze Leap Forward occurred when an alloy of copper and tin was discovered to produce the vital metal in a less toxic manner. Bronze was stronger, far more durable, and useful than the copper and stone tools previously used. Bronze provided superior.
Yeah, it's gotta be like back in the day. It's not like you had like I don't know, directions on how to do this stuff. You didn't have the internet to search how to do this. So, for the first people, just trying to, I guess, kind of making up a recipe, trying to get things to work, that'd be some pretty crazy times. Obviously, a lot of people died and got poisoned, and eventually, I guess, they figured out a good formula, and then you have bronze. But it's just kind of interesting to kind of think about. The first people to do this stuff were just experimenting, pretty much, right, for a better way of doing things.
And useful than the copper and stone tools previously used. Bronze provided superior weapons for hunting and war, as well as tools for construction and agriculture, which led to far greater crop yields and population growth. So much food was produced that many people were freed up to pursue more specialized occupations. Artisans, craftsmen, and construction workers built and beautified the Earth's first true cities with tens of.
Yeah, it's cool. So it's just like that, and so like Bronze Age pretty much got things more modern. Because before that, I guess everyone was kind of just scavenging for themselves for food. They really didn't think anything else but just to survive and get some food and get a shelter, and that's it. But the bronze came in, and I guess freed up extra time. Wow, we got lots of food now. We got some extra time. We can kind of go and try and think of some new inventions to do different stuff. I don't know. That's kind of cool. Kind of like the start of like civilization kind of thing.
And construction workers built and beautified the Earth's first true cities with tens of thousands of people inhabiting them. Writing, the wheel, mathematics, and many more innovations occurred in these cities. The Sumerian cities of southern Mesopotamia, their ruins, now located far from the modern coastline, which has continually silted out to sea, were in their heyday strategically located to control the trade flowing through the region's vast river systems and the Persian Gulf. In northeast Africa, even before the introduction of bronze technology, the fertile Nile River Valley was a cradle of early civilization, where the pre-dynastic kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt formed. These were named after the direction the Nile River flows. Following the unification of these kingdoms into a single state, bronze was introduced to Egypt. Goods were traded from Mesopotamia to Egypt through intermediary states that developed in the Levant, which is the eastern Mediterranean coast between Egypt and Anatolia, which is modern-day Turkey. Over time, these states in the Levant grew to become wealthy middlemen in the bronze trade. The river valleys of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Levant have together been called the Fertile Crescent, as well as the cradle of civilization, because of the technologies that rapidly developed in the region. The Kingdom of Egypt had access to vast quantities of gold from Upper Egypt, which is located in the south of Egypt, as well as large quantities of copper from mines in the Sinai Peninsula, and later through trade with the Kingdom of Al-Ashia on the island of Cyprus. Because Egypt only had plentiful access to one of the two necessary ingredients to create bronze, copper tools were widely used, especially during Egypt's earlier dynasties. Although much less tin is required to create bronze, it was far less plentiful. The river valleys of the Fertile Crescent, as the name implies, had the best farmland in the Near East, but they lacked the necessary components to produce bronze. This necessitated the development of the first long-distance trade routes, international diplomacy, and...
Was there other places in the world where, bronze was being discovered and stuff? I guess not back in this time period. I was kind of curious on how everything, basically in other countries in Europe, in Africa, like what people were doing at this time. I guess everything was still kind of wild over in those areas. Like pretty much this part of the world is the part of the world that kind of got more advanced first, I guess. Pretty much, I feel like I should know this stuff.
The development of the first long-distance trade routes, international diplomacy, and contracts, which were all facilitated by the written word. The nearest plentiful supplies of tin were found on the Iranian plateau, along with Egypt and Sumer, another Copper Age civilization that rapidly developed and flourished in the early Bronze Age was Elam. Elamite civilization was centered around the city of Susa, nestled in the foothills of the Zagros mountain range, which looms over Mesopotamia. The Elamites benefited from their greater access to tin. The first recorded war in history took place around 2700 BC, fought between the city-states of Sumer, led by the king of Kish, and Elam. The Sumerians won the war, and recorded that they carried away the spoils and weapons of Elam. But that was the first of many wars, and Elam would outlive.
That's like the first war ever recorded? 2700 BC. I remember a lot of you guys in the comments, made really good points. Like, to the Romans, like the Egyptians back then to the Romans, that's even a bigger time difference than us right now, basically back to the Romans. Just think of it, just how much time has passed. I mean, there's a bigger gap between the Romans and the Egyptians than there is between us and the Romans. It's just awesome and mind-boggling to think about. So, but anyways, wow, and that war got recorded, how does, I guess that's just, the writing or the inscriptions on the walls or whatever, that lasted 5,000 years? That's just insane. But anyways, I'm only 4 minutes in. I feel like I've paused it a million times. Sorry.
Away the spoils and weapons of Elam, but that was the first of many wars, and Elam would outlive Sumer. For more than 1,000 years, Elam remained an ever-present threat to the civilizations of Mesopotamia. The Sumerians were first subdued by the Akkadians to their north. Sargon of Akkad is often considered to have established history's first empire, as the Akkadians ruled over peoples who spoke different languages and practiced different cultures. It should be noted that there are other short-lived earlier Sumerian claimants to being the first empire. After approximately 180 years of rule, the Akkadians were conquered by the Gutians from the Zagros Mountains. The Gutians are the earliest example of the barbarian archetype, coming in to destroy civilization, only to adopt the culture of the conquered peoples. just as the Germanic tribes, who adopted many aspects of Roman culture during the fall of the Roman Empire 2,500 years later. The Gutians were driven out by a resurgent Sumer.
I mean, it's stupid. You conquer people, and they got a better way of doing things. I mean, it'd be pretty dumb not to, take the, there's the spoils of war of gold, but there's also the spoils of technology and just learning, like what there's, what they've taught you as far as, what, I don't know. I'm fumbling over my words, but you know what I'm saying, like the Apoducts and I don't know, all that cool stuff. Anyways, sorry.
Led by the third dynasty of Ur, which established the Neo-Sumerian Empire, they subdued Elam, and their influence spread to the coast of the Mediterranean Sea at the height of their power.
Oh, wow.
The Neo-Sumerian Empire was overrun by a new group of people who they described as the typical barbarian, who ate raw meat, didn't build buildings, farm, or bury their dead. They were the Amorites. In time, they would be considered the most civilized and prestigious of peoples. The hardy Amorites originated somewhere around the deserts and highlands of what is now Syria. The Sumerians recorded that they built a wall to keep the Amorites out, somewhere in northern Mesopotamia, but the Amorites appear to have found a way around or through it. Nearly all of the cities of Mesopotamia and the northern Levant were conquered or usurped by the Amorites, who established royal dynasties and adopted the local urban culture. The Assyrians of northern Mesopotamia, who claimed descent from the Akkadians, established a short-lived empire under the leadership of Shamshi-Adad, likely an Amorite, and definitely a humble man who declared himself king of the universe. His empire was superseded by another Amorite, Hammurabi, famous for his surviving law code.
King of the universe. Like back then, they didn't even know what the universe was, right? I mean, they just thought the universe, the earth was flat and that's it, right? Like, was universe even like a word back then? That's just like, am I being trolled here and he's just messing around? Like, that's for translation to universe. They can't exactly say that that's what he thought, the universe, but something similar to that, I don't know. Anyways, I feel like I'm getting trolled right here. I took it hook, line, and sinker. Master of the universe.
Was superseded by another Amorite, Hammurabi, famous for his surviving law code. He established Babylon as a formidable power and cultural center. On the island of Crete, the Minoan civilization, which began to flourish around 2700 BC, was devastated by a volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, which is now called Santorini. Based on archaeological remains found on the surviving portion of the island, it appears to have been a major urbanized economic hub for the Minoans. The Minoans have been described as a thalassocracy, which dominated the islands and land around the Aegean Sea. After the eruption on Thera, the Mycenaeans of mainland Greece supplanted the Minoans as the major power in the Aegean. Their major competitor was the city now identified as Troy, which became wealthy, controlling trade flowing through the Hellespont.
It's cool how the Bronze Age started. And it's like, okay, Babylon, yeah, I recognize the name. Okay, Troy, awesome. I actually need to do videos on Troy because I haven't done anything on Troy. Anyways.
Identified as Troy, which became wealthy, controlling trade flowing through the Hellespont between the Aegean and Black Seas. The Mycenaeans are believed to have been a loose confederation of states based around fortified palace and administrative complexes. In contrast to the other great contemporary civilizations of their day, which formed around fertile river valleys, which geographically united them to a certain extent, the Mycenaeans were divided by mountains, making central rule far more difficult. Like the Minoans, the Mycenaeans traded with Anatolia.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know, but that Parker promo saved me so much in my insurance. I brought you a little something special.
The coastal cities of the Levant and Egypt. Their principal export was olive oil, which was a multi-purpose product in high demand. Another scarce vital resource, desired by all major powers in the Fertile Crescent, was wood. The only substantial supply located in the region were the now vanished forests in what is now Lebanon. This required wood to be imported from further afield. Vast quantities of lumber were harvested and exported from Anatolia. Around the Kızılırmak River, two peoples, the Hattians and the Neshites, combined to become the Hittites. They consolidated power in the region, expanded their territory.
Like the first lumberjacks, pretty much, you know. I mean, like, they didn't even have to grow their own stuff, just cut down the trees and trade it. I mean, like, they had it going on right there. Interesting.
Become the Hittites. They consolidated power in the region, expanded their territory, and became wealthy through trade. In 1595 BC, the Hittites shocked the Bronze Age world when their king Mursili and his army marched over 2,000 kilometers and destroyed the Amorite kingdom of Yamhad and sacked Babylon. They carried off the city's great wealth and thousands of slaves. The Hittites' campaign was not one of conquest, but of plunder on a massive scale. Mesopotamia was devastated, leaving a power vacuum. The Hurrians and the Kassites were two tribal mountain peoples who took notice of this and moved in to fill the void. The Kassites rebuilt Babylon and adopted much of its culture and former territory in southern Mesopotamia, while the Hurrians in the north formed several small squabbling kingdoms. By the end of the 16th century BC, these coalesced into the Mitanni Empire. In Egypt, the Hyksos, a people generally believed to have been of mixed Levantine origin, usurped power there. They founded their own dynasty, which controlled the Nile Delta for a century. A native Egyptian dynasty survived at the city of Thebes and was a Hyksos vassal for a time. Around 1550 BC, they were able to decisively defeat and drive out the Hyksos from Egypt. The new kingdom Egyptian Empire expanded to control the entire Levant, bringing them into contact with the Mitanni. After many years of waging war, with one side gaining the upper hand and then the other, the Mitanni Empire and Egypt entered into a long-term alliance. This alliance was sealed and renewed by a series of marriages between the daughter of a Mitanni great king and an Egyptian pharaoh. This was a high point of peace and prosperity in the Bronze Age Near East, before things took a turn for the worst. A great video on the rise and fall of the Bronze Age is available from this video's sponsor, CuriosityStream, a subscription-based streaming service with thousands of documentaries and nonfiction titles. Just like other streaming services, to watch the documentary I really enjoyed on the Bronze Age, and many more. During the reign of the pharaoh Akhenaten, Egypt was plunged into internal turmoil, as he abolished the Egyptian pantheon of gods and moved the capital city. Taking advantage of this, the Hittites and the Assyrians, who were vassals of the Mitanni, both attacked and then divided the Mitanni Empire, initially into puppet states, which were later abolished and absorbed. Egypt recovered from its period of weakness and then waged war against the invading Hittites. They clashed at the Battle of Kadesh, the earliest recorded account of a battle in history. Both sides claimed victory and later signed a peace treaty with each other. Assyria maintained an aggressive foreign policy, attacking the Hittites. All major powers of the Near East then enacted an embargo against them to halt their expansion. This was the state of the world when the Bronze Age collapsed. Famine, pestilence, and a host of other maladies afflicted the Bronze Age world, including the mysterious band of marauders known as the Sea People.
Nobody expects the Sea
What?
People.
The Mycenaeans, Hittites,
Hold on.
Alashia, and many of the
Nobody expects the Sea People.
Suspects to see people? I don't recognize these names. Look at these guys. All right.
The Mycenaeans, Hittites, Alashia, and many of the city-states of the Levant and Kassite Babylon did not survive. And those that did so in a diminished fashion. A big thanks to my patrons over on Patreon.
Bronze Age collapse. Okay, that's the Bronze Age. I guess I got to do a video on the Bronze Age collapse. So, yeah, okay. At least I got basically the Bronze Age is the start of civilization, pretty much. You know, like it's pretty much the farthest back that you can pretty much go that has any kind of history that's written down kind of thing. Like, does it go before the Bronze Age? There's not really anything that goes before the Bronze Age because obviously there was no civilizations before then. It was pretty much just kind of, I guess, families and people kind of out on their own. There was no towns like they said here. So this was definitely interesting and kind of like this, mind opening for me, I guess, because yeah. I didn't really know this, so very cool stuff. And you guys let me know if I want to do the collapse. I don't know if I can do the collapse on this channel or another one. I'll find out if I get copyrighted. We'll see. But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button below. And this was definitely very interesting to see how, these little, these states and stuff popped up, and they were tiny at first, and then they got bigger, 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 and started recognizing bigger names, and little wars started to come out, and then that's basically how it all begun, right? Well, let me know your thoughts below in the comments, like you guys always do. I appreciate it, and catch you guys in future videos. Like and subscribe, like I said, and yeah, peace. I'm out of here. Have a nice night.